Hello, hello. Welcome to Horror Movie Yearbook. I'm your host, Willie, and with me is my heterosexual life partner in podcasting, Mr. Tim Long.
In podcasting?
Yes. Well, I can't... Look, I have other friends that would be very hurt if I called you my heterosexual life partner in everything. So...
We haven't podcasted together for quite a while.
Right. When it comes to watching bad game shows hosted by LeVar Burton... No,
whoa.
Hosted by Jaleel White.
Jaleel White, excuse me.
Yes, he hosted Total Blackout. When it comes to bad shows hosted by Jaleel White and podcasting.
And singing Boys to Men, End of the Road.
That is us.
Yeah.
So that sums us up. But yes, thank you for listening. Apologies to LeVar Burton, who is not involved in any way, shape, or form with that show. Good for him.
We should... We know that we're loosening things up here. We should find an old episode of Total Blackout hosted by Jaleel White and review it.
Agreed. There's some horror elements too. We watched a lot of that night.
Yeah, we did. It was like a marathon on Sci-Fi.
It was sweet.
Yeah.
We were drinking a lot. I think we were coming down from drinking actually. All right. Well, thank you.
We
for
were
joining us.
hungover. We were what?
This was the morning after.
It was what we referred to. I used to refer to as cheese-brained. Mm-hmm. The next day, we were just kind of hanging out.
It was rough. Was that the morning that your tires were flat?
Yeah, the tires were flat, and you guys had to take me up to like Bell Tire or something, right? And I just remember they were working on it. We got Dolly's Pizza.
Yes.
During the day, which was delicious.
We were with Dave Rinaldi.
Was it Dave? Okay.
I think Dave is the one that took care of business for us. Yep.
So, yeah, it was a good day. I mean, it was, a bad day with the...
we turned it around.
Getting the tire fixed. This one had the old Extreme, the
That's
S10
right.
Extreme.
That's right.
Which was absolutely extreme.
To the max. We turned it around. So that's the important thing. Hey, if there's anything you guys want to hear from us, if there's any sort of topic you want covered or whatever, if you want to get really upset with me about, slandering the good name of LeVar Burton, then just, send us feedback. horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com. We're at HM Yearbook on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. All those good places. Yeah. Send us whatever you want. We'd love to hear from you. We do have a couple little things, little fun things. Friend of the show, Steve.
Okay.
Got a delightful cameo.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with Cameo?
Both the musician and
of course,
the word up musician and the service.
I'm speaking of the service where you can pay celebrities to give you a video shout out for whatever reason. Steve was sent a cameo from Tom Savini by some coworkers of his.
Oh, fantastic.
Which he posted to our Twitter. It's delightful. Tom walks him through the House of Horrors, shows off all of his mask collection to Steve. He spends a nice 3 or so minutes just kind of going through all of his cool stuff. He's got some wonderful stuff in that workshop, I gotta say. He's got Fluffy in there from Creepshow. He's got a mask of himself, which is kind of great. But yeah, Steve said he was just listening to us talk about whether or not we'd go to a con for Savini's autograph. And when he was listening, he said out loud, "That's a hard yes." And then this happened to him, this wonderful, wonderful cameo that he received. So very cool, very psyched for Steve on that one. Happy that happened for you. And it looked like it was awesome. Like you really put the effort in. So anywho, Tim.
Yo.
Our main topic of the day today.
We're going to talk about Prey in a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's going to be the movie that we're going to be discussing. So, we mentioned, I think, on the last show that we're getting a little more free form than usual.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be doing Prey today, but we're gonna be doing a lot of other fun stuff too. We hope you guys enjoy. Yeah. So watch Prey before you listen to us talk about Prey.
Yeah, we will. So I'll give you
because it's newer, so I don't.
And I will, as always, I will put timestamps in here. So if you are listening here, you haven't seen Prey and you are spoiler phobic, because I think you and I are probably we're going to delve into some spoilers. So I want to give a fair warning up front.
Yeah.
I put the timestamps in so you can skip around if you would like. Or Yeah, however you want to do it. But yeah, we will probably spoil some things.
There will
from
be
Prey.
some spoilers, I would guess.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Tim, you want to mention somebody? We lost a member of the horror community.
Yeah, Clu Gulager passed away.
Gulager,
Clu Gulager. Yeah, named after a Clu bird.
Excellent.
Yes. He was 93 years old. He lived a good, long life.
Yep.
Very prolific actor. He was in all sorts of. I mean,
lots of stuff.
Way back in the olden days, in the 60s, he was in like stuff like The Killers, The Virginian. I think most genre fans, and it's kind of what he became known for later in his career, specifically in the 80s. Return of the Living Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, probably mostly Return of the Living Dead.
Yes, for sure.
As Burt Wilson. So he's... you're a Return of the Living Dead fan, right?
Big fan.
Yeah,
big fan.
Yeah. Return of the Living Dead it's funny. It's kind of a punk rock movie. It's Dan O'Bannon, and it's kind of like a very punk rock movie. And Clu Gulager is the hero of the movie, and he's like a middle-aged dude that owns like
a warehouse.
He's like a square,
a medical supply warehouse. So sweet. Yeah, he's like the least punk rock.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's great. Love Clu in that movie, and I've seen interviews with him and stuff, and man, he's just got a wickedly wry sense of humor, and just seems like the kind of guy who just a funny guy to be around, but a very sassy and sarcastic too, and I like that.
He had a quote, and it says, "We need to laugh, we need to be scared, we need to hug our girl in the theater. It lightens the load of this crummy life."
Sweet. Right?
So thank you for that inspiration. But yeah, so yeah, Clu Gulager, yeah, he passed. Like I said, he was acting up until a few years ago. He was just in the Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right. That's right.
He was a bookstore owner.
Man, maybe he didn't want to live to 93 with a quote like that. This crummy life.
He was still...
Sorry, Clu.
Yeah, I don't know when that was said exactly. He wasn't like... I mean... It didn't seem like he disliked horror, but it wasn't. I mean, he did a lot of work outside of horror.
Absolutely.
But he was still doing cons up until a couple of years ago. His son, John, directed the Feast movies and Piranha 3 Double D, all of which I believe Clu starred in. I remember the show. Do you remember the show Project Greenlight?
I do.
I remember, this is the first time I remember, Clu Gulager stuck with me because one of the producers, not Ben or Matt, I think Chris Moore was his name.
Okay.
They had talked about like Clu Gulager they had got him for this role, and they're like, he's like an icon in the horror, and like, well, just in Hollywood in general at the time. Like, it's a big deal for them to get Clu Gulager on this. And I remember thinking like, who is this guy? Because I was still pretty young when that was coming out. I was not familiar with his
savvy
work.
to the Clu.
You're right. So, but he was in that. He was in Piranha 3 Double D, I believe, is the one John directed. So yeah, 93 years old. Just wanted to mention him up top. And
yeah, for sure.
He was the third longest living cast member from the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Priscilla Pointer from Dream Warriors is currently second at 98. And do you know who number one is? And I don't know if this technically counts. She has a cameo in Dream Warriors.
I don't know who this
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Oh, my Zsa Zsa.
She's 99.
Hell yeah, Zsa Zsa.
So,
I mean, she just seems so full of life, you know?
Right. I don't think Zsa Zsa will ever.
No, she will never leave this mortal plane. Excellent. Well, RIP to Clu, and I will forever enjoy watching you the next 100 times I watch Return of the Living Dead.
Exactly.
Because I will. Tim, anything else you want to?
No, you ready to get into it? You got anything else you want to talk about before we jump into this bad boy?
No, I think I'm ready to jump into some Prey. For sure.
Prey.
We don't need a time machine for this.
I already made the. By the way, new honor roll out where I talk about Black Phone and Nope. But I already made an MC Hammer. We've got to pray just to make it today. If you remember that classic jam. Oh, check out Westworld FM, by the way. They're covering the Westworld finale, which sounds delightful.
Yeah. And if you want to be a part of our Discord, check us out on Patreon. And join the conversation about Westworld, which I've been checking in on from time to time, despite never watching a second of Westworld.
Yeah.
Because I really like not knowing anything about the show and looking at some of this discussion going, whoa, there's no way I could handle anything that's happening in this show. So
I want to just, I want to jump in. Like, if they have another season, I want to just jump in and just watch an episode in the middle of that season, and then just write like a really long-winded email to them, and just like kind of annoying. Too.
Absolutely. one of my other heterosexual life partners and roommate at the time jumped in and watched Lost with me, starting at the first episode of the final season. You imagine? He had a lot of questions.
I think we talked about this. I kind of want to do that with The Walking Dead, the final season of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Just start jumping in. And
I told you about my podcast idea, right?
Where we do first.
You watch the first and last of something, whether it's a show or a movie series, and you try and fill in the blanks.
I think this is not a bad idea.
It's not a terrible idea. Someone's going to steal it now. And that's fine. I will listen to it. But cool. Let's jump to Prey. Prey, the newest in the long-running Predator franchise.
Dan Trachtenberg.
Dan Trachtenberg, director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I think you and I both enjoyed.
I liked it a lot.
Yep.
Actually,
yep.
yeah.
And
did we do an episode? I don't think you and I did. Did we do a Film Nerds episode on 10 Cloverfield?
We did, I believe.
Okay.
I think. I know we did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
What was his kind of claim to fame beforehand? He was a YouTuber, or was he a film blogger? I'm not
both,
familiar with his work.
I
know Alex was like a fan of his, right? The founder.
Yes. He had a show for many years with a couple other guys. Jeff Kanata is one of the guys, and they did a ton of like movie reviews and things like that for ages, and he gained a lot of popularity through that. And I don't know exactly where he got his start, like directing and stuff, like getting behind the camera. I'm not sure. But
was he the one that did like the Portals fan film?
Yes.
Was that him? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that was his earliest stuff that I think had any sort of major, And he was involved for a long time with Why the Last Man, and I don't know that he was involved in the show in any way, shape, or form.
That was when it was going to be a movie, right?
Back when it was a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So,
I would have liked to have seen his, because that show was. I watched the first couple of episodes. Maybe it got better, but in this day and age, we might talk about that a little bit later. And what we've been watching, you got to hook people with that. That Why the Last Man show was boring as hell.
Oh no. Well,
anyway,
it's not around anymore.
After Prey and 10 Cloverfield Lane, I would have liked to have seen his version of that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he seems like a guy who's definitely got a vision. I think that I've been impressed by both of his features so far. So yeah. I'd like to see what he does next. You want
to start with your basic thought? Well, where are you with the Predator franchise?
The Predator franchise. This is a good question. I need to ask you an important question before I explain.
Okay.
Do we count
AVP and Requiem?
The AVP movies, or are those their own separate franchise?
This is tough, because if I say no, then I have to say like Freddy versus Jason doesn't count.
It's tough because they really aren't Predator movies.
I don't count it. Okay, I count just the Predator movies and just the Alien movies
as their own separate.
I think
series.
The AVP stuff, in my head, is separate.
I agree.
And honestly, that's kind of how I am with Freddy versus Jason as well.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's its own separate thing.
And those movies don't have continuity for the most. Well, the Friday movies barely have continuity anyway. So, okay, if we're not counting those, I like 3 of the 4 Predator films before Prey.
Okay.
I like Prey too. But I do not like the Shane Black movie, The Predator.
Right.
Don't like it.
Weird too. I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I liked their stuff in it. I liked.
I don't remember a thing about it.
It's kind of a nasty, mean movie, but I'm kind of with you. It's weird because it's Shane Black coming back to the Predator.
I know.
It's just, I think if I recall correctly, there was a lot of interference in that, studio interference in that, and I don't think it ever really meshed, gelled, came together. Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to like it. I don't remember like anything about it. Like, there's nothing I remember that I was even remotely like. I can't tell you a moment from that movie, and I've seen the movie.
There's a school bus at one point.
Okay, yeah. There's a dog in it at some point.
There's a dog in Prey, and a fantastic dog in this movie.
Excellent dog.
Yes.
Was concerned.
Good boy.
About
Good
this
boy.
dog.
Yeah, me too.
Very invested in the dog. But I mean, Predator, the original Predator, is a stone cold classic. One of the great action films ever, period, of all time.
Yeah.
And Predator 2, I will forever have a soft spot for Predator 2. It's probably the Predator movie I've seen the most, funny enough, because it was on cable all the time when I was a kid. Also, one of the first sex scenes I ever saw in a movie. And I remember being like, because I remember like having some concept of what sex was. Like I knew that the man got on top of the woman and something happened and that was sex, and they both enjoyed it. I knew that much. But this was the first time I ever saw a woman on top, and I was like, what? I didn't I remember my adolescent brain not understanding. Like I was thinking, like, is that a man with long hair? There's boobs, so I don't understand. That's not
what's she doing.
I didn't get it. I thought, like, is she hurt? Is she in pain? Is something happening?
Yeah.
So that was my first time seeing a woman on top. Was Predator 2.
Did that happen each time you saw a different position in a? What is this madness?
Probably.
Honestly, yeah, probably.
I saw The Shining younger than I should have, and there's that blowjob, that very brief blowjob thing where the man is blowing the other man in the dog costume.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, my mom being like, I was like, what's happening? And she's like, don't, like.
There are a couple of movies, and I'm failing to remember the exact ones that I, like, now that I realize, oh, like, he's going down on her, or, like, she's going down on him right now.
But you literally did not have any.
You're just like, where'd they go?
Yeah, exactly. Why is he going away?
I still think that. Like, what's he doing?
What's he up to?
What's his problem?
Not buying this. Anyway, yeah, now I know what it's supposed to be, but I go, like, yeah, it's not happening. Anyway.
That's why I stick to James Bond movies, because he'll never do that. Yeah.
No.
A selfish lover.
James is not a giver. The Bond fans would be all upset if he ever, like, went down.
Definitely. Yeah. I think I remember a conversation, man, we've gotten sidetracked early, about which the most likely Bond to go down on a woman, who that would be. And I think the obvious answer is probably Craig.
I think Craig, because Craig feels like the modern man's Bond.
Right.
He's not afraid.
Connery, absolutely not.
No, he ain't doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Pierce might.
Yeah.
Pierce might, if the mood struck.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think he'd be doing it all the time. Dalton might. I think Dalton might.
I think Dalton's more likely than Pierce. I think Pierce would have to ask.
Yeah, I think Pierce would have to be a request, and he'd think it over.
The first two,
Pierce would ask all sorts of weird stuff of the person too. Be like, "Can you please, before we begin, can you go do a full scrub down thing?" Because Pierce is, but like Dalton would be like, "Bring it, let's go, give it to me." Okay,
anyway, back to the Predator. So it's sexy to Predator 2 is what we were talking about.
Predator 2. I have a soft spot for that movie. Also, I have a soft spot for the Sega Genesis game, which rules. Because I get to be Danny Glover, just blowing away predators. And Predators, I think, is a ton of fun too.
Me too.
It's kind of a blast. I think the whole cast is great. It's a different kind of movie because it's kind of like a Predator, like a Dark Horse Predator comic book adapted into a movie, more than just kind of being a Predator movie. But I kind of love it anyway. And then that's kind of where I'm at with the series.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't talk about the AVP stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same. I think the thing that dawned on me while I was reading a lot of the reactions to this movie, and maybe that was a mistake on my part, because I think I went in with some skewed expectations in some way from reading some of the reactions, some of the reviews beforehand, and I should know better at this point. I'm older. Like, come on now. But I realized, like, maybe I'm a bigger fan of the Predator franchise than a lot of people.
I did the same thing. I did. I was like, I like most of these movies. Like, if you're not counting AVP.
Yeah,
I like more of these movies than I do the Alien franchise.
And like a lot of people were like, "This is the best movie since the first one," which I will allow. But then there were some that were like, "This is the best Predator movie." And I'm like, "Whoa, hey, what are we doing here?" Yeah, slow your roll, everybody. So I'm in the same boat as you. I think Predator is absolutely perfect as an action movie. I think it's up there with Die Hard in terms of those great 80s action
I was going to say the same thing. That's
they're both
crazy.
McTiernan.
That's crazy. Well, and I want to say real quick, Predator's one of those rare movies. The original Predator is one of those rare movies where I think of it as an action movie, despite the fact that it's like a sci-fi movie,
right,
with a ton of horror elements. I categorize that as an action movie. Like, even guys and gals who don't like sci-fi stuff, if they like action, they usually like Predator.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
So then, but I'm going to say, like, I really like Predator 2. and I have since I watched it, and like I've never wavered on that. I think it's a good sequel, and I think it's also there's also a dated aspect in the best way. Like it's cheesy 80s Danny Glover cop movie meets Predator, or it's like kind of like scummy too, and it's very
much like
very sweaty.
It's very much playing with everything. Because when did Predator 2 come out? 1990?
Was it 90? I thought, late 80s.
I thought it was 90.
Is it 90? Okay.
91. I'd have to look it up. But it came out during 1990. It came out right, at the beginning of the 90s there. And, like, there was this, like, in a lot of the same ways when you see, like, movies that take place in New York in the 70s and 80s, there's this vibe of LA in the 90s.
Yes.
Because of a lot of the events they didn't happen at this point, but, like, there's a sweatiness and a violence and like a There's just something about the LA, the mystique of LA in the 90s.
It's a very orange movie too.
Yes, yes, exactly. Very oppressive in every way.
Yeah. I like. Yeah, it's Predator in like post-apocalyptic LA. And
it's sweet.
And then I had a blast with Predators. I still enjoy watching it whenever I do. I think it gets I think the second half is a little weaker. It's weird. Yeah, we'll get into what my feelings on Prey. It's almost the inverse, like the opposite of how I feel. I think Predators, the first half is a ton of fun, and you get to meet those different characters. And then I think the second half, like once they get to Fishburne's place, if I recall,
so weird.
It gets a little bit slower and duller.
There's a story about that Fishburne thing, by the way.
What's that?
That's supposed to be Arnold, and
he
dropped out.
Yeah.
Or he just said no, and they retooled that character to be a much smaller part.
Okay.
But still had somebody cast, But that was supposed to be Arnold.
Right.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, actually.
And then the most recent run, the Shane Black one. Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. There's still stuff I like in it. I think there's still enough Shane Black in it that I find some enjoyment in it, but I'm with you. So Prey. Willie, I'll start with you. What did you think of Prey?
I really, really liked Prey. I went into it with moderate expectations. I mean, I don't necessarily... I like the Predator movies, but I understand that, they can go either way, I guess. I've seen the Predator franchise go really well and really enjoyed the end product, and I've seen it, in situations like The Predator where I was like, I'm good, I'll pass. But I was looking forward to it because I think that what I'm looking for from a lot of these long-running these franchises that were born by and large in the 80s, the major sci-fi franchises, and I'm thinking of series like Aliens, Predator, Terminator, RoboCop, these movies that are kind of our generation's sci-fi action classics are those series. I recognize Alien came out earlier, but Aliens is, 86. What I've been begging for and hoping for from these films moving forward is to not feel like they have to be so attached and beholden to... I think that all of those universes are very rich and have real possibility to tell very cool, very interesting stories within those universes and expand corners of those universes and do things during different time periods and in different environments and just do cool stuff with it. I think another example is not like these ones, but like Star Wars is another one where I've always wanted them to do, and I think they have done it a little more recently, but like I've always wanted them to expand because it's such a cool, rich universe. Like, why do we need to be beholden to Sarah Connor or the Connor family in these Terminator movies? Like, why can't we tell a Terminator story that's not about that plot line with Alien? And now I recognize we got Prometheus and Covenant, but those feel like different beasts entirely to me. Those don't feel like Alien movies in a lot of ways. Why can't we do an Alien story without Ripley? I don't see why we can't. I think the universe is rich enough and interesting enough to where we could do that. And with Predator, I always feel like there was, even in the ones I enjoyed, even with Predator 2 and Predators, there was always a need to... Everything had to be set during some sort of like the modern time period with modern weaponry and tough guys, tough dudes fighting the Predator. And I get that, because it worked the first time around, and I think it worked the second time around. I think it worked in Predators as well. But like I said, I think that the idea of the Predator in that universe, why not do different stories? Why not go crazy? They always did that in the comic books of all these series. There's Terminator and Alien comics and Predator comics that like vastly expand the idea of what you can do within the universe. And I think Prey's the first time they've really been able to do that. And I respect it for that alone. You know, the movie itself, it does start slow. I'll say that. It does take a long time before we really get into we're about halfway through before we really start getting into the nitty gritty. And once we do, it's balls to the wall. I mean, once the movie goes, it goes. I mean, there are sequences in this movie that I think really like rule. Like there's a wolf fight sequence that I think is fantastic. There's a bear fight sequence that I think is like an all-timer. Like I love it. Even if the bear looks a little dodgy here and there, I don't even care. Like it's sweet. And just action sequence after action sequence, I think they're all impressive. And I think shifting the focus both to a time when the Predator's opposition is not going to be as well equipped to fight, to survive, and also switching the focus onto not just a female protagonist, but a female protagonist who is younger and one that the audience certainly is going to have a harder time believing is going to survive against this than Arnold. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. But what I love about that, what Trachtenberg did with that, is he could have just made it as simple as like she's a tough warrior who's going to pull through no matter what kind of thing, and he does that. But like what I love is that he's able to utilize her coming of age story that's set up in that first 45 minutes to an hour. That yes, it does move a little slower, and we do take time building that. But like, I think the time taken building that aspect of her character and the challenges she's facing, the fact that nobody thinks she can be anything more than what they see her as, that she's never going to be a hunter, she's not skilled in that way, she's not going to like. I love the way that her and the Predators storylines merge, and you're able to see the resolution of her character arc through her fight with the Predator. I think it's really cool, and I think it's smart storytelling, and I think it's something that is missing in a lot of movies these days, and I enjoyed it. And I think the action rules. I loved every action sequence in this movie. I can't say that enough. And at the end of the day, that's one of the most important elements of a Predator film. So I really liked it. Yeah, I rambled. I'm sorry. I really liked it.
No, you're good. You're good. You did not ramble at all. So I'm going to state up front that I liked this movie. I'm a little bit more mixed, I think, than you are on this one. If you would have asked me after the bear fight, because I'm not as big on the bear fight as you are, I was taken out of this movie quite a bit by the CG. And I don't want to shit on it too much because I believe this is a Disney property, a Disney film, technically. And I know these poor effects people right now working for Marvel and Disney, and probably 20th Century Fox. I know they're underpaid and overworked right now, so I won't shit on it too much. I didn't think it was very good, though, and it took me out of the movie quite a bit. I thought the bear looked like crap. And
no, it didn't look great.
It's tough with animals anyway, so I forgive that. But if you would have asked me 45 minutes into this movie after the bear fight, like what I thought, I'm like, I don't like this movie. About halfway through this movie, I was sitting there going, like, I've been kind of bored. I get what you're saying about the character stuff in the beginning. I just felt it was a little bit repetitive.
Sure.
And I remember sitting like going, okay, this kind of feels like padding. It kind of feels like we've padded out a short story or a fan film here. Now, the second half, I thought kicked ass.
Yeah.
And you know what, maybe there's something to be said for, like you mentioned, setting up the character, building that world, letting people know where you're at and what the themes are and what you're going for, and then delivering in the second half. I wouldn't disagree with that. I was just kind of bored in the first half. And I should also mention, I'm a pretty impatient moviegoer. So it picked up in the back half. I'm with you on the action. Even though I thought the CG was a little bit too much, I thought some of the Predator stuff looked a little wonky. I thought it was shot with clarity. And I think Trachtenberg has a very good handle on tension. Yes. Especially like in-scene tension. I think he's very good at that. And I think he was very good in that Cloverfield Lane. I think he's very good with these small kind of tense stories, and he's proven that quite a bit. I love the dog in this.
The dog is awesome.
You touched on it a little bit, and what I liked about it too is you mentioned the macho men, kind of the macho men, like the team of macho men going to.
They're generally tough guy movies.
They're generally tough guy movies. So there's some positives and negatives to that in this movie, because I feel like they do that in this movie. They put a twist on it with the main character, the lead female character, because these macho men are kind of like the French, the fur trappers.
Yes, the fur trappers. Yeah,
the fur trappers, and the people with their and
well, even some of the people in her
tribe
yes, are also that way.
They're also that way, and they get picked off. But that's what kind of happens in these Predator movies. These macho men go into this situation with this hunter. They get picked off one by one, and then the last person has to kind of use their smarts.
Machoist man.
Yes, has to use their smarts, and then she just kind of she's essentially stepping into the Arnold role.
Yeah,
she outwits the Predator. So I like that. I think another hang up I have with this movie, the Predator movies for me work best when they're kind of funny. This is an incredibly humorless movie.
No,
like there
is
not I don't think there's a joke. There's like one joke in the entire thing, and it's like a callback for like there's like one funny moment in this entire thing. Although I did laugh when the Predator gets revealed in blood.
Oh, that was sweet.
That was funny, but it wasn't necessarily a joke. I think the first Predator is like a legitimately funny movie.
There's some very funny stuff.
Yeah.
In the front half especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I know some of it is a bit dated, some of it's a bit cheesy, a bit corny, but it still makes me laugh. And I also think Predators is a very funny movie.
Oh, God, Topher?
So this one, I don't think I grooved with it enough on that level where it's just it takes itself very seriously, and I think it's why a lot of people really like it too, because I think we are in a I don't know if I want to say there's a backlash to what we're getting in the big time movie, like the Marvel movies is what I'm thinking of, where it's a lot of jokes and but I do think people, and you can see it with the Batman as well, kind of there are some people that are yearning for a bit more serious take on these things.
Well, and I do want to say I wonder if there is. I wonder if you look at some of like the iconic creatures, characters, monsters from that era of movies, the Predator and the Alien and stuff like that, like there's certainly going to be a bit of of being desensitized to that stuff, and it's not scary anymore. So I almost wonder if that's part of the idea here is, and I'm not saying it's okay, and I'm not saying to make your film humorless because you want to make something scary, but I wonder if there was some of that here where it was like, let's try and make the Predator scary again so we can earn the audience, get them to be invested in the creature and the world again. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I wonder if there's some of that.
And it's kind of, that's a good point. And you kind of see that with like Halloween 2018, where they're just like, okay, we're going to go back to basics on this.
Yeah, and then they did Halloween Kills. And
they're like, oh, all bets are off, baby. Let's kill everybody.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get that in the next one. I think this worked best for me, though. Yeah, the second half, I think there are some clever kills. I think there are some clever moments, some clever action scenes. And yeah, at the end of the day, I liked it. And I think where I liked it is, and it's you touched on a little bit too, is I kind of like what it's aiming for, which is a small scale Predator movie. And it's where I'm with you. I would like to see some of these franchises go if we're going to go this route. Now, I don't know if we're going this route though. Maybe we'll get to that in a minute, because I have a couple of questions I wanted to ask you. But for a lot of these older properties, like maybe I do want to see, but it works for me as a straight to streaming movie, basically, is how it worked for me. Yeah, well, I'll ask you a question later. It worked for me in a straight to streaming movie in the way that something might work for me to like a straight to video way. Like, I don't know if I wouldn't have been a little disappointed if I saw this
theatrically. Okay,
I don't know. Because maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so that's where it worked for me. I'm glad I saw it at home, but maybe my expectations were a little bit off from reading, and I will admit that from reading some reviews. But I like Dan Trachtenberg. I think he's got a ton of talent. I'm excited to see what he does next. It's good to. He hasn't done. I mean, 10 Cloverfield Lane was a while ago. I actually think I like that a little better though. So where do you rank this in the? Where's your ranking in the Predator? Franchise.
It's probably second for me now. It might be second, like tied with 2. Like those two are kind of. I don't think it can beat 2 for me because I have that special place in my heart for it. But I think it right now it's second, and that could be a recency thing too. And I'll be fully admitting of that. Or I will fully admit that Predators is solidly in like that third spot for me. And then, the Shane Black one.
Yeah. No, if I were to throw AVP and AVP Requiem, where would you rank? It's still probably the same, right?
it'd be AVP after the Shane Black movie, and then Requiem after that.
Okay.
I've seen the movie, but I haven't seen the film.
Requiem is one of the darkest movies ever made.
Can't see
literally. It's a terrible film. It's awful.
Bad.
So I have got this solidly at 3, behind 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think though, if you were to ask me let's say a year from now, I haven't seen Prey. It's since I watched it like last weekend. If you were to ask me like, Tim, what do you want to watch? You want to watch Predators or Prey? Probably Predators. I'm not gonna lie. So I've got it at 3 because
it's the more rewatchable movie.
I think that Predators will probably be the one in my life that I would I'm more likely to revisit.
Just for Topher.
Yes, Topher and Action Adrian Brody. Action star Adrian Brody.
So
and
sweet.
Walt Goggins.
Goggins is in there. Trejo's in there.
It is an amazing cast.
It is.
All right, I had a couple of questions I wanted to ask you that I kind of alluded to.
Yes, please do.
I've seen this going around. I want to know your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Because do you think the Predator is a little bit too underpowered? I'm going to say I don't. I think I get this. Or like, not OP, but would this be UP, underpowered? I don't know.
Sure. I'm going to go with no, because I think it actually makes... I think when you make something an unstoppable monster that never feels pain or is hurt or takes damage, you pull me out of the movie. Because I don't there's no point in me being concerned or rooting for anybody, because I don't believe that anybody can win anyway, right? Even like the Friday the 13th movies or like the Halloween movies, like you could knock the son of a bitch down for a while. Like I don't mind seeing. Plus, I think one of the important things to remember is this movie takes place much further in the past than any of the previous Predator movies. So just like we're dealing with people who don't have the technology that Arnold or Danny Glover had access to, the Predators are going to be a less. I mean, he's not using everything they use. He's not shooting missiles from a shoulder cannon and stuff. Like,
he doesn't seem to be outfitted.
More. Yeah.
Yeah, so where do you think this Predator comes from? Do you think they just kick him out, like they kicked him out and said, go have fun, like have a good time?
So I think if you dig into the Predator lore, you want some lore?
Yeah, for sure.
They're called the Yautja. That's the species. The alien race are the Yautja. And this is the first hunt canonically on Earth. They're the first Predator ever dropped on Earth to go hunting.
Okay.
Which is kind of fun. And it's like this is like a kind of like a trial by fire thing, I think, for like, this is like a younger Predator who's getting started in his hunting campaign.
Yeah.
And like, he's like a first time, like they're like, hey, here's a planet that's got some indigenous life. It seems pretty primitive. This is a nice one for your first outing, son. Go make it happen. We'll pick you up in a couple days.
Yeah, pick you up in a couple days.
Yeah.
All, knowing that they could be picking up like a carcass, like a dead body.
In which case, they will honor the one who has slain the Predator. They always honor the one. If somebody has come out successful, if you recall in Predator 2, the end of of Predator 2,
right?
Danny Glover kills the city hunter. They call him the monster, the Predator from Predator 2, the city hunter. He kills City Hunter. And then all these other Predators come out of the doorways on the ship that he's on, and the elder Predator hands him an old antique pistol, which is the same pistol
that's in this one.
That's in this. So at some point, the Predators were able to get a hold of the gun again.
Right, and I think the movie goes out of its way to show that the Predator is trying to hunt the prey on like equal footing and a lot. It
wants nothing to do with her.
Yes.
At first. I mean, and we've seen that before too, right? So we've seen the Predator doesn't. There's a really cool scene in Predator 2 where there's a female detective who is like facing the Predator 101. She's got her gun raised at him, but then when he scans her, he realizes she's pregnant, and he's like, nope, and he ducks out.
That's right.
Yep. He's like, I can't do it.
Now, okay, follow-up question. So
which means
that
Predators are pro-life. I'm just throwing it out there. They must be.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So a question.
A weird joke.
No, because this is going to get weirder. Semi-related.
Good.
Are the predators male mostly in these movies?
It seems like it.
Now, which iteration do you think is more likely to go down on a female predator?
Yeah. Which predator
is the most likely to go down?
There's a Chad predator in Predators. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He's like that big son of a bitch.
Yeah.
The one who like kills a regular is like beating up a regular predator. He's
you think so? You think
he's like the ultimate
an unselfish lover?
Yeah. Oh wait. I mean, I think he just likes to like.
It's a power move for him, right? Yeah.
Like, look what I can do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's not. Yeah. Yeah. That being said, have you seen their faces? That's probably not a pleasant experience for anybody that.
Just thought of that. God, there's got to be some like really gnarly.
Oh,
predator
there is,
porn out there. Don't send us any of that,
please. Please. We talked about a lot of cunnilingus.
Where do you want to other than Predator, like a steamy like 90s erotic thriller Predator throwback? Where do you want to see the franchise go from here?
I loved a Predator.
Yeah. Basic Instinct.
Yes.
Predator 3
I like
Predator.
That. I saw a pitch from a random person and it got memed. It was like being sent out on all that stuff. Somebody's like, give me a feudal Japan, a movie set in feudal Japan, and I think they said, give me Ken Watanabe as a samurai, as a Ronin, whose daimyo was killed by a predator, and now he's wandering the Japanese countryside to hunt the hunter. And I'm like, that's okay.
So that's what you want to see.
Give me just more like
Predator in a yeah.
Why not?
That's what I guess that's what I like most about this movie. It feels like kind of like a Marvel Comics or
it's
Dark
like
Horse Comics, kind of like one shot or like miniseries.
I want more of those.
Following the Predator.
I don't want another macho guy Predator movie right now. I don't think they've earned the right to do that again yet.
Yeah.
I think that they don't need to do that right now. The only other thing is, I guess, if you wanted to do, if you could get Arnold back,
do something like that,
and get Glover back.
Oh my God, yeah,
and get Brody back, and do like a Lega sequel where it's like a Predator survivor support group.
Yeah, yeah, kind of like what they had pitched for one of the Nightmare.
Exactly.
Ash versus Evil, or one
exactly.
Of those, right?
See, what I think you do is you have the Predator shows up. The Predators are bored. They're tired of easy hunts, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, what we should do this time? We should have an all-star game. We're going to go and collect all the people that killed our people before. We're going to go collect them and dump them on a planet so we can hunt those guys, because clearly they're the best game, right? They've survived us before. And that's how you get Schwarzenegger and Glover and those guys all together. And now they're all like, we got to pull together to survive. And then you have one of them make some sort of awesome sacrifice at the end to like save the others. Glover.
I think so too.
He's the right guy to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
because he'd give a sick speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trejo didn't make it out, right?
No.
Predators? No.
I think he's the first to go.
Who makes it out of who's even in Predator?
Brody and the lead female, the sniper.
Who's in the Shane Black one though? Keegan-Michael Key's in it.
Does he live?
No, I don't think so.
That's sad.
Who's the lead in the Predator?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I don't think I care enough to.
I remember so little about that movie. It was Boyd Holbrook.
Okay.
Bring Boyd Holbrook and Olivia Munn back.
Olivia Munn is in that.
That's right. So bring them back and get all the survivors together to have a hunt with the Predator. Last
question I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
Then we can move on. You think this worked out better going to streaming? Because, the reason I asked this is because I think it did. I think this movie, benefited. Maybe not I think it may have benefited financially, because I think this movie would have bombed in theaters. And it's not because it's a bad movie. It's because the Predator bombed in theaters. I don't know if there's necessarily an appetite in theaters for late sequels like this, because we've seen this kind of the last Terminator movie underwhelmed, and those Alien movies underwhelmed. I kind of think these long in the tooth science fiction properties, I think this might be the best route for them going forward.
I think right now, yes. Do I think that they can return to theaters at some point? Yes.
That's the thing, yeah.
But there's two reasons for that, and I've mentioned both of them before. One, these franchises have been stuck in the mud and up their own ass for so long and not advancing in any way, shape, or form and taking advantage of these cool universes. If they can start doing that, then they'll start regaining audience trust. But until you start regaining audience trust in that franchise and that property, you're not going to see box office results in the theater. You're just not going to, because people don't want to waste their money seeing something that the last 4 of them weren't that good.
Right.
I don't want to either. I haven't seen the last 2 Terminator movies because I don't give a shit. Like
right.
I don't. But if you put a lower budget Terminator movie on Netflix or Hulu next week, I'm going to watch it.
Yes,
because it's free. And if you do it, like if you make a good one, I might go see the next one in theaters if it's a bigger budget. Like I might do it. But you have to regain that trust. You can't just.
I think the Hellraiser movie might be a good example of this. I don't think Hellraiser's ever going to make it back into theaters, but I know there's that David Bruckner Hellraiser coming out on Hulu that I'm super interested in.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's got female Pinhead, right?
I think so. Yeah, I'd probably go see it. Who am I
So
kidding?
sweet.
I'd probably go. I'm more likely to watch it at home though than I'm more likely to take a chance on it because I'm sitting around, like you said, I'm looking for something to watch, and I go, okay, I can start this, and if I don't like it, I can just throw on The Office or something.
Yeah, and I don't feel bad. Like I don't feel bad about watching this stuff at home streaming either. And I'm kind of tired of being shamed for watching stuff streaming at home. Like I pay for the fucking service.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want them to put stuff on it every once in a while, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
and it's also one of those. The reason I bring this up is because I saw a lot of people going, "I wish this would have been released in theaters. I wish this could have been seen on the big screen."
Fine.
And maybe I would like the option for smaller movies like this,
and that's fine too. I think if you can have the option, great.
Yes,
but there's a lot of weird
I don't think a theatrical only run for this movie would have been good for it. I think it's much better off the way it was released.
I completely agree. I think it would have made some money through some word of mouth, maybe, but I don't think it would have the buzz it got because it was released on Hulu. Because all the people with Hulu accounts can go, oh, sweet, a Predator movie? Because that name still holds weight. That franchise name. Even if the franchise is not necessarily a trustworthy franchise for fans, names like Terminator and Predator hold weight still. When you say a new one of those is coming out, people go, huh?
It's also a demographic thing. The people that are our age, remember, growing up on stuff like this, are now raising younger kids, raising older kids, are home with kids, a lot of them, not everybody obviously, but I mean there are people that are more like, people go to movies are older people and younger people.
Yes yes, exactly. And let me just throw this out there too. For most of us watching Prey in that age range there, we didn't see Predator on the big screen anyway. We watched it on VHS or on cable. We didn't see Predator 2 on the big screen. But so Predator's kind of a small screen experience for us anyway, right? Right. So it doesn't, you know what I mean? Our options to see Predator on the big screen were the AVP movies. So,
which I think I did.
I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one.
No, I didn't see the second one until DVD. Anyway, that's you. Anything else on Prey?
No, I enjoyed it. It's on Hulu. Check it out. I think it's worth a watch.
Support streaming.
Support streaming.
It needs all the support it can get.
Yeah. Yeah, does it? I don't even know.
I don't.
They're the least transparent things.
It was. I think it did well, just judging by buzz. And I know Hulu released a statement saying this is our highest debut movie ever.
That's great.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
But once again, we have no real transparency.
How do they make money?
That's the thing, is this is a money loser for Hulu too, because people aren't with Hulu. People are mostly subscribing for shows. It's the same thing with Netflix.
Yeah.
When a lot of that stuff on Netflix is money losers, unless it's a show like Stranger Things. But I don't think.
But how many of those does Netflix really have? They've got Stranger Things.
They've got Stranger Things. I think Cobra Kai I would put in there.
Cobra Kai. The Marvel stuff is gone.
Squid Game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there are a couple things like Bridgerton.
Okay, yeah.
Netflix has still got some, but they have a lot. But the thing is, if you look at the streaming numbers, even the ones that Netflix puts out, and a lot of the stuff that still does really well on there is older stuff, like Grey's Anatomy, The Office.
Yeah.
Those old purchase shows.
It's catalog stuff.
It's part of the reason why they've been hit so bad is because The Office went to Peacock. A lot of that CW stuff is kind of spread out now.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things are kind of in their owned by different, like Big Bang Theory's on HBO,
everybody's
Friends
like,
are on HBO.
Yeah.
So they've all taken this stuff back, and now
Yeah.
Netflix is hurting in that way because of those older things.
Yep.
So
makes sense.
all right, you wanted to do this tweet next? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah,
this Jordan Peele?
let's just talk about it.
Okay.
So
Do you have the tweet still?
I'm gonna pull it up.
It's been a month or so.
Yeah,
Jordan Peele dunked on this guy.
we talked about this tweet last time around,
Yeah.
I believe. This is the tweet from I'm not gonna say who he is because I just feel like he probably got a lot of shit for this.
Yeah.
I know this is a hot take, but at what point do we declare Jordan Peele the best horror director of all time? Can you think of another horror director that had 3 great films, let alone 3 in a row? I can't. Okay, so we have talked about this offline, and I want to talk about it now. I'm going to just say right now, his first question is silliness.
Can you think of 3 horror directors who had 3 great films?
Yeah, John Carpenter, Wes Craven,
Romero.
What's that? Romero. There you go.
Yeah.
Cronenberg.
Raimi. Yep.
Flanagan. There's one. Okay, hold on. We'll get there.
I didn't even. Yeah. I don't even have Flanagan on here.
Del Toro. David Lynch. Does he count?
The other one is, of course, Hitchcock. If you were counting,
Hitchcock?
I know he gets lumped in more
De Palma?
suspense. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hitchcock, De Palma are similar.
Juan's made 3 great films. There are Argento. There's plenty of
Yes.
Fulci, yeah. There's plenty of examples there. But the tricky one is 3 great films in a row.
Okay.
Now, here's what I've done, Tim.
Yes.
I've simply Googled on the Google search page greatest horror directors.
I've got a list here too. Okay.
Excellent. What do you want to do? You want to go with this random Google search or the list you have pulled up?
Let me do the list I've got pulled up because I'm thinking.
Funny enough, the first person is Jordan Peele on Google.
Yeah, because I took Peele out of there.
Right.
Because this is the thing, we're gonna go with the premise that his first 3 movies are great movies.
Sure.
Well,
yeah. I have not seen Nope yet.
Did he do Keanu? Did he direct Keanu?
No.
Okay, he just starred in it. Okay.
Correct. I like Keanu a lot though.
Okay. The cat.
Have
movie.
you seen it?
No, I have not seen it.
It's great.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. So let's start with I think the one that you and I agreed with, and the one that Jordan Peele shot back with, which was John Carpenter. He's like, don't put some respect on John Carpenter's name. I can't remember what he said.
Yeah, he said something along those lines. So let's talk about Carpenter real quick.
I'm going to argue he did it twice.
What are the 3 great? They're not trilogies, but I'm going to say what are the 3 great trilogies of films? Release-wise that he made.
Subsequent
yes. Releases
in a row.
Yes. Chronologically, he had to have made 3 great films in a row. Okay. Now, obviously, this is all a matter of personal opinion.
Yeah, this is tough, too. And I think we
recognize that.
And I think I'm not going to limit it to straight horror either. I'm going to say genre movie. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So,
because I wouldn't, with Jordan Peele, I would not call Nope straight up horror, for example.
Okay.
So I think if it's horror adjacent at most.
When I look at Carpenter, he starts a run in 1980 with The Fog. And then in 81 he has Escape from New York, 82 he has The Thing.
That's my first one,
yes.
Yeah.
And then 83 is Christine, and I think Christine's kind of great too. So I would argue that. So that's a run. If you look then
I think he's got a second one too, yeah.
Later in the decade he's got Big Trouble in Little China in 86, Prince of Darkness in 87, and They Live in 88. That's a run.
I think that's a run, too. Yep.
So there's a couple of them right there. I think it's, to me, that's not negotiable. Those are 2 all-time runs.
Next up, let's move on to Wes Craven. Because Wes is, I think, a little bit more inconsistent than a lot of these directors.
Yeah.
I think I look at this and as director, because even when he's making like A Nightmare on Elm Street, like Hills Have Eyes 2 is right before it, and then it goes into Deadly Friend.
Wes is a tougher one for 3 in a row.
I don't think you can do 3 in a row because he's got some stinkers in there. Like, I think you would, if we're talking classic, I think you could make an argument in a case for Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left, but then like you have got Deadly Blessing right after. And I don't think you can make an argument for that as a great movie. Later on, like Shocker is fun, but because that interrupts Serpent in the Rainbow and People Under the Stairs, which you could almost make an argument for when you get into it.
That's the closest I think you could get to. Now, you could, I could see an argument being made for New Nightmare, Vampire in Brooklyn, and Scream.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't think Vampire in Brooklyn is at most kind of an interesting failure to me.
But so he did specifically say the 3 horror movies in a row.
Okay.
Just because you make another movie in that subsequent, does that count as breaking up their streak?
What do you mean?
It's like Vampire in Brooklyn, you wouldn't count as a horror movie, right?
Oh, I would.
You would. So you're just saying it's not great. Okay,
yeah, I'm just saying. I'm saying it's not great.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I guess
that makes sense.
If
Okay,
you wanted to,
gotcha.
you could probably make a Nightmare, like a Scream to a Music of the Heart, if you loved Music of the Heart.
Yeah. Right.
I think you're stretching now.
For sure. For sure.
Okay. So
I thought you were saying that Vampire in Brooklyn does not count as a
I don't
horror
think
film, and I was going to say, well, that if it doesn't count, let's not keep it part of the. You know what I'm saying? That if you took Vampire from Brooklyn out because you're like, oh, it doesn't count as a horror film, you could say that People Under the Stairs, New Nightmare, and Scream is a solid.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
I thought you were throwing that out of the. Okay,
No.
I gotcha. Yep. Cool.
Next one I want to try is George Romero because he's a borderline. I think Wes is a no. I don't think Wes has done.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you.
Romero.
I'm going to pull up the filmography right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to pull them up on IMDb. I don't like how IMDb sorts its stuff, by the way.
No, you have to click on a director. Like with Romero, he doesn't pop up direct. I think it sorts by whatever he has the most credits.
Correct.
Yeah. So producer pops up or writer pops up first, and
yeah. So as far as Romero's concerned, this is a tricky one too because there's no run that you could argue. I don't think really until that you could make a major argument for until you get to Martin in '76 because you could go Martin, Dawn, and Night Riders. Or if you don't want to
Night Riders is the borderline one for me.
Yeah. Now, if you want to take Night Riders off the table because it's not a horror film, you could do that. I mean, if that's the logic you're using. If you're saying, well, he said 3 horror movies in a row, you could do that and say
go into Creepshow,
Martin, Dawn, Creepshow, and then into Day. That's arguable, but Night Riders is right there in the middle, and you can't ignore that it exists, and you can't ignore that a lot of people aren't necessarily huge fans of Night Riders.
You could do Creepshow Day Monkey Shines. I just don't think Monkey Shines is a great movie.
It's not great. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that one's not. So yeah, I would make the argument that I don't think George has 3 great in a row, one after another. He has probably the best filmography after Romero or after Carpenter for me. But yeah, no, I don't think he has 3 great horrors in a row.
All right, here's a tough one too.
All right,
because I'm with you. I'm George a no. Sam Raimi. Raimi is tough because he is all over the map in terms of genre.
See, I don't consider him a horror director.
That's the thing. So he's made horror movies, but they are broken up a lot of the time by stuff like. So I think his early stuff, Evil Dead. So Evil Dead 2, Darkman, Army of Darkness. I think that's a pretty solid run there.
So Evil Dead 2,
Darkman, Army of Darkness.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I would. That would be the closest one because then it gets into
I would count that because Crime Wave eliminates that run, that stretch.
That Evil Dead, Crime Wave,
yes.
Evil Dead 2. Yeah. I think that's I think you can make an argument for that.
You 100% could.
And then because I don't think you could. Simple Plan is there, but that's kind of. Then it goes for Love of the Game, which I don't think is a great movie. I think it's a good movie. The Gift, Spider-Man 2, though, I don't think I would make an argument for The Gift as a classic either.
But is it great?
I think it's very good.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
I think I could. But once again, the tweet did specify 3 great horror films.
Yeah. So,
and those aren't even horror. I mean, well, Spider-Man movies aren't.
But he's definitely
Spider-Man
made
3, maybe. But.
3 great movies.
Yes, he's 100%. Like that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sam's. I think we might say Sam's a yes, right? Because Army of Darkness.
I think Sam's a resounding yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think with Army of Darkness and Darkman and Evil Dead 2, yes, I would say yes. Sam gets it. Yep.
Hitchcock I had on here. I think he was a pretty easy yes. I had Vertigo, North by Northwest Psycho.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty easy yes. I thought Hitchcock was a gimme. The thing with Hitchcock, and I have another one on here later I wanted to bring up too, is he was very prolific. That a lot of his movies in between aren't necessarily classics, but they are very good, very solid.
Doesn't mean they're not great.
But right. I think that is the run I would point to automatically.
Yep,
just
I would
looking.
agree.
James Wan.
Okay, so this is let me pull up James. If you count his producing credits, he probably has a few good ones in a row. Maybe, I don't know. He's produced some bad stuff too. Let's pull James Wan as director. So I've got James Wan. Okay. Saw, Dead Silence. Okay, well, there we go.
Sorry to all this.
Death Sentence.
Death Sentence is is good.
Insidious and Conjuring.
So I think you could make an argument. Oh no, Dead Silence is a horror movie. Never mind. I was going to say you could make an argument if you were doing the horror movie thing. Saw, Insidious, Conjuring, as kind of.
I don't think Insidious is very good though.
I think Insidious 2 is better. Insidious 2 is better.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So could you do it? Conjuring, Insidious, Chapter 2, Conjuring 2. Now Furious 7's in between the two.
Yeah, and Furious 7 not due to his best efforts.
No.
Furious 7 is kind of a mess because of all the stuff that went on. Paul Walker died during the filming of it.
Could that have something to do with it? Because, I think if you took Furious 7 out of the equation, if we were going by the rules of we're only counting the horror films, I think James could make the cut. But we haven't been doing that, so I would say James does not make the cut.
Who do I have next?
And I think the reason why is Insidious is enjoyable, but I don't think it's great.
We just talked about this gentleman here.
Yeah.
Cronenberg.
David Cronenberg.
This is tough because there's always one that breaks it up. I might make the argument of Brood, Scanners, Videodrome as the strongest run of his career.
Brood, Scanners,
in a
Videodrome.
row.
Okay.
Or maybe Videodrome, Dead Zone Fly. You know what? I might go Videodrome, Dead Zone Fly as the strongest of his career. Of three.
Yeah, man.
Or at least my favorite. I guess because now you get into...
But I don't think Scanners is great.
Me neither.
I think The Brood is great.
I kind of don't think Dead Zone
I don't think Dead Zone's great. The Fly... I haven't watched Naked Lunch in so long.
Yeah.
Because I liked Dead Ringers a lot. Like, we talked about this.
Right. Oh, so you were thinking going...
Dead Ringers, Naked Lunch, but I haven't seen Naked Lunch in so long, I can't make an opinion. I can't form an opinion on it.
I think maybe... Yeah, where's he at later? Oh, of course, he starred in Jason X. You could make
Butterfly, Crash, Existence, Spider,
he starts getting into that
violence.
History of Violence. No, no.
Now he's got History of Violence, Eastern Promises, but then it gets broken up by Dangerous Method, and I have not seen it, so I can't make a comment on that. But History of Violence, Eastern Promises, that's a 1-2. Like, those two movies are a wonderful 1-2 punch. Yeah, so I'm going to go with no on Cronenberg. I'm just going to say it.
This one I wanted to bring up real quick because I think it's an interesting... But James Whale did, back to 3 years in a row, he had Frankenstein, The Old Dark House, and The Invisible Man, which are all kind of classics from the 30s.
Uh-huh.
But the issue is the way the Hollywood system worked back then, like the studio system, he did a bunch of stuff in between. Even though there were 3 years in a row,
he'd make 17 movies.
He would make a ton of stuff. So he's a no. Do you want to do a couple more here?
Yeah, let's do two more.
Okay. I wanted to... Park Chan-wook did Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, and Lady Vengeance. So I want to put him, that Vengeance trilogy. Let's do international real quick. Let's do Argento.
Dario. Dario's a tricky one too because Dario's weird because he's one of those directors, and this goes for a lot of Italian horror of the era. But you have to like that.
Yeah.
You have to like giallo stuff to like any of his stuff. If you don't like it, with the exception of maybe Suspiria, purely because I think Suspiria is one of those things that somehow managed to break through and become. It's so visually interesting and arresting that you don't have to love giallo to. But I'm gonna say right now, I think he does have 3 in a row.
So are you looking at the Deep Red, Suspiria, Inferno?
Yep. Yeah,
because then he goes into Tenebra, Phenomena, and Opera.
And those are actually all pretty.
You can
good
probably
too.
They're all, but I'm with you. You have to have a. Taste.
I don't think Opera's great.
Yeah, that was kind of on the borderline. But yeah, you could go Inferno, Tenebra, Phenomena. Because I don't know if Phenomena is great either. I think it's interesting, and I think it's kind of fun.
I love Phenomena, but I don't think it's great.
I think that's
Inferno's not great either. If I'm being honest,
yeah.
I think the argument can be made that Argento had 3 great ones in a row. So I'm not going to say he didn't. I'm going to say for me he did not. Because I like Inferno, but is it a great movie? No, it's not a great movie. Deep Red and Suspiria rule. Those two movies I think are as far as a 1-2 combo. Once again, he killed it. Inferno, I think, is well worth a watch. But I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Let's do one more horror guy, and then I had a couple of non-horror I wanted to throw at you real quick.
Oh man, okay.
Let's do. Who would you rather try here? Guillermo or Joe Dante?
Dante. Do Dante.
Okay, so I would make an argument. I personally would make an argument for The Burbs, Gremlins 2, and Matinee because I love Matinee. The John Goodman.
I haven't seen Matinee in long enough. I can't make a.
But I don't necessarily.
I got to look up Joe.
That would be my. That comes in the later part of his career.
I think Gremlins 2 is legit one of the best sequels of all time.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways Gremlins 2 is actually better than Gremlins 1. I think Gremlins 1 is fantastic. Gremlins 2 is so funny, and it's insane to me that they gave him the money to make that movie. It's nuts.
What was Dante just in the? Oh, he was just in the news for the Baby Yoda thing. He made a snap at Baby Yoda looking at like one of the Gremlins. I thought it was pretty obvious he was making a joke. But
wait, what did he make?
He said Baby Yoda was an obvious ripoff of Gizmo. And like everybody got mad at him. Like, oh, I think he's kind of joking around. Or maybe he's not. He does look a lot like Gizmo.
You mean people are being overly sensitive right now? That's crazy. Yeah. You know what though? I mean, he did make Gremlins, The Explorers, and Inner Space. There's an argument to be made for those three.
Gremlins, Explorers, Inner Space?
There's an argument to be, you could go there.
Okay. I like Inner Space a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Explorers since I was
Explorers is pretty great.
Okay.
Like for that, if you're of the right age when you saw it, like it's kind of a cool kids movie. That is The Explorers I'm thinking of, right? Just want to make sure. Yes, Ethan Hawke. Thank you. So you could go with that. But yeah, Burbs, Gremlins 2, Matinee, that's a really solid run there. Anything after that, I mean, Small Soldiers in 98.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't been real solid since probably the early 90s.
Okay.
He's had a rough run. Okay.
All right.
There were a couple I wanted to throw out. William Castle, I think you might be able to make an argument for. I don't think they're great movies, but House on Haunted Hill, The Tingler, and 13 Ghosts. Yeah. But I think those are more fun. The other one I had is Jacques Tourneur. He did Cat People, I Walk with a Zombie, The Leopard Man. They're all these old Val Lewton movies from the 40s that I think are all. Now, non-horror real quick, I'm going to throw Spielberg at you and see if you can find 3 great movies in a row, because I was trying to.
3 great Spielbergs in a row?
Yeah. And
There's gotta be, dude.
It's tough. I think 1941 breaks it up twice. If you look at his filmography, because
41's it's not very good.
No, it's terrible, and it breaks it up.
Is that his worst movie?
No, I think stuff like The Lost World is probably his most.
The Lost World, it sucks.
Yeah,
but at least The Lost World has like some decent action sequences, and
1941 is wacky enough and like weird enough that I think I would watch it before. It's pretty bad though.
Okay, I'm looking at the filmography right now. And I'm gonna have to try and pull this out. See, we're not counting TV movies, right?
No, I think we're going. I think we're going.
Duel doesn't even count. That's technically a TV movie.
The run is the way I looked at it was Jaws, Close Encounters, and then Raiders. But 1941 is right in between Close Encounters and Raiders, because I think because then it breaks it up again, because you could do Raiders and then E.T., but you can't do it because 1941 is there.
And then I can't do Twilight Zone.
I can't do. I guess that's a segment. So if you wanted to do Temple of Doom, you could.
You could.
Yeah. You could make an argument for Sugarland Express, I guess, Jaws and Close Encounters. I don't think I would.
Could you do Temple, Color Purple, Amazing Stories?
Segment, but you could do Empire of the Sun, which is very good. It is kind of a great movie too.
Always isn't very good either, if I remember right.
If you really loved Hook, you could do Hook, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List.
I love Hook.
Okay,
dude, why do people hate Hook? Can you tell me? I'm going to assume you don't like Hook, based on your. I don't
dislike Hook. I would not make an. In fact, I would probably make an argument for that Sugarland Express, Jaws, Close Encounters.
Why do people shit on Hook?
No, you know what? I would make a Raiders, E.T., Temple. I would make an argument for before.
Because that one hurts.
I don't dislike. It's just super long.
Okay. Length, yeah, okay. But yeah, AI, I don't think AI is
Amistad,
great.
yeah, because I was going to say you could do Amistad, Saving Private Ryan, AI.
Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, to Terminal is not great.
War of the Worlds, Munich, Crystal Skull.
War of the Worlds isn't great. Munich, Crystal Skull, oh, yep. I don't think Spielberg has 3 greats in a row. I don't
think so either. The other one I wanted to throw at you, this one might be kind of a quick one, is Tarantino.
Yeah, he definitely does.
I think you could. Yeah. I love Jackie Brown, so I would say Reservoir, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown.
100%.
Yeah,
yeah. That's
and honestly,
easy.
I would make a case for his last 3 movies too.
What are his last?
Django, Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He's got multiple stretches because, I'm not a Kill Bill guy. Like I like them, but I don't think they're great movies. I'll be honest with you. I just don't think they're great. But yeah, those two stretches you just gave, especially Reservoir, Pulp Fiction,
Jackie Brown.
Yeah, because I like Once Upon a Time, but I don't think it's as good. It stands up to.
Would you
Django
go Inglourious Basterds, Django, and
I think the run of Inglourious,
Hateful
Django, and Hateful Eight is his best run he's ever done.
Okay.
That is as good as like that's as good a run as anybody's ever had in movies. I think those movies, and Hateful Eight is like my favorite Tarantino movie. So
cool.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we did it.
All
That
right.
was tough.
That was
I just want to stick up for that guy who tweeted that at Jordan Peele. It was tougher than anticipated.
Yeah, that was.
Nikki.
Hello.
Has joined us here. Nikki, we're wrapping things up here.
Mm-hmm.
Willie, do you want to do the with Nikki down here? Do you want to do the Fan Expo preview Canada, or do you want to go into? You want to just go straight?
Are
in?
we going to Canada?
No.
Please, can we please?
Do you want to do
go?
the thing where we preview and then see who we would get autographs from or meet?
Yeah, we'll just we'll do a quick rundown of Fan Expo Canada to close out this episode.
You know what though? I'm just saying, like before we even get started, I'm going to be infinitely nicer this time around than I was last time.
It's going to be easy though because this is a great list.
This is a really great
okay,
guest
is
list.
it?
Nick.
Okay,
wait.
so where was the last one where I like shat on a bunch
I'll
of
be
people?
honest with you,
feel
I
like?
don't remember which one we're talking about.
Yeah, so
I think it was another Cincinnati one, but
okay, but like Canada, that is my happy place.
This is in Toronto.
That is like that I
You're
love
a Toronto
Canada.
fan.
I mean, just more than I could ever explain.
there's a good chance when we're retired, we're moving to Canada.
I mean, we don't have to like retire there. Like, let's just like have that be like our summer home. Like
Can we
you know,
get
like
dual citizenship?
like in like Michigan, like we like a lot of our friends have like cabins up north.
We want a cabin way up north.
I want a cabin
Canada.
in Canada.
or just across.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can be pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it could still just like be pretty close to the border. Like that's just
Yeah, that way we can say we had dual citizenship. Okay, I'm going to cut through. We're going to go through the guest list here, and just tell me who you're excited about. It doesn't have to be what I get an autograph or not. Just tell me who you're excited about. If somebody be interested in meeting, call it out. If not, we'll go through the list. We have a reunion of all 4 Hobbits from the Lord of the Rings franchise. We've got Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Dominic Monaghan, and Billy Boyd. Now, Tim.
Yeah,
I do believe your wife is one of 2 wives I know
Yeah,
whose goal it is to get all 4.
she's missing
Hobbits.
one. She has not met. She has not met Dominic Monaghan. We met Billy Boyd together.
Yes, I was
I was
there.
of course excited because he's in seat of Chucky.
Yes, he's Glenn. He is Glenn.
Yes. So
He is the seat of Chucky.
he's the only one I would personally care about.
Billy
because
Boyd?
of
Not Elijah?
No, Dominic Monaghan
Dominic
because
Monaghan.
of
Lost.
Lost.
Oh, you
Yeah.
like Sean Astin? He was Bob on Stranger Things. He's a delight. Lovable Bob from Stranger Things?
Bob on Strange.
From season 2?
I don't know why I'm like drawing a blank.
He's like the super
The bigger-
sweet boyfriend of Winona Ryder in season 2.
good kind of
Wait.
Chucky guy.
Oh, of Stranger
Bob.
Things.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why. Like my mind went to What We Do in the Shadows,
Oh.
and I was like, there was a boyfriend in that.
Elijah Wood?
No, I don't care.
No? The good son?
Star of Flipper.
No.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh shit!
We
Yeah.
busted that out, buddy.
No. I mean, he's cool. I just don't. You
Okay,
know,
fair
whatever. But yes, Sean Astin, absolutely.
To keep
yes.
with the. Oh, sorry.
Your wife wants all 4 and is missing one. And I believe friend of the show, Kevin Nauman's wife,
Yeah.
has 2 or 3 of 4. And I
Oh,
think
she wants it. Okay, so like I know that her and her friend love Elijah Wood.
They've
but
done the
they
Elijah Wood.
love like all the Hobbits?
I believe that they have a
saw
couple
that-
other Hobbits.
Oh, okay.
But Elijah Wood was like the ultimate.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Quick question.
I mean, one of them named like her friend
Yeah.
named her son Elijah.
Yes. That's
So
right.
I
That's
mean,
right. She's a
I
big,
think,
yeah.
Okay, go on.
Quick questions, Nikki. You missed
Yeah.
a couple of these questions earlier, so it's been a theme of the episode. Which Hobbit do you think is the least likely to go down on a female Hobbit?
Oh, yeah. Wait, okay. Out of all 4 Hobbits, who's the most likely?
Who's the most likely to go
who's
down?
down to go down
on a female?
on a female Hobbit? Which
I
Hobbit?
mean, I guess I would have to just say like Dominic. Like
Dominic
just
Monaghan?
like yeah.
Marry a duck, Brandy Buck? Yes, he will go
I think
down.
that's a good answer.
I mean, like, yeah, no, I mean,
totally
I just like I
reasonable.
have a soft spot for him because of Lost,
He
so
could
I
have.
think he will win every time. And then second to that would be Sean Astin because of Stranger Things. Because now that I remember him
Bob is
being
amazing.
that,
Yep.
He was phenomenal.
Get excited, Nikki. You're about to book us tickets to Canada.
Oh, 100%. I just feel it in my bones.
No, you're about to. Okay.
Oh yeah.
We've got a Stranger Things guest group.
Oh, am I going to be able?
We've got Finn.
Okay.
Settle down.
Okay.
We've got Finn Wolfhard who plays Mike.
Okay.
We've got Grace Van Dien, daughter of Casper Van Dien.
She looks like Casper Van Dien.
Does she not? Right?
Who?
She plays Chrissy, the
Oh, okay. Yeah.
cheerleader. Jamie Campbell Bower who plays Vecna.
Okay, that would be cool because you know what? He has that really weird, sex appeal.
He's got that Cillian Murphy thing.
Cillian Murphy, exactly.
Where he's kind of androgynous, but you like it.
Oh, yeah. There's something about him, yeah.
And
absolutely.
Joseph Quinn, who plays Eddie Munson.
Absolutely. Now, the only thing that would make that, just a full-rounded experience would be if I could meet Dustin.
Yeah, because you love...
Oh, I love
He's been
Dustin.
at the Motor City Comic Con a couple times.
Has he? Okay. Well,
What about Steve?
why didn't you take me there?
Steve?
Oh, yeah. We would be going separately from that. I would be taking my wedding ring off for that.
I love it. Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy, another guy you're a big fan of. Hey. No one needs it.
Charlie Hunnam.
Charlie Hunnam goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Is he the one I don't like? I can't remember.
You do not like him.
Okay.
Oh,
Him
okay.
with Garrett Hedlund.
Garrett Hedlund. Oh God.
Yeah. I don't know which one you like less, but you don't like either one.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm totally down for this.
Excellent. William Shatner.
Bill Shatner,
Shat,
of
he
course.
goes down.
Does he?
I don't know.
I think he
Does
probably
Kirk-
probably did
Kirk-
at one point.
Kirk-
Now he doesn't have
Yeah,
to.
Kirkwood, absolutely. Never mind.
Kirk has tried all sorts of stuff. Matthew Lewis from Harry Potter plays Neville. From
Yeah,
Harry
Neville
Potter.
Longbottom.
Michael Rooker, Yondu, of course, from Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Rook, Mallrats, baby.
Yes, absolutely. He was in The Walking
and
Dead.
Henry, the serial killer.
Lana Parrilla, she was the evil queen on Once Upon a Time,
Can I
the
see
show.
her?
Yeah. I'm switching it here. I'll just kind of leave it like that as we go through.
Okay. Yeah. I recognize her. I stopped watching Once Upon a Time, but I really liked it, and she was good.
Ashley Eckstein, I believe she's mostly a voice actress. Giancarlo Esposito of Breaking Bad and The Mandalorian.
Rumored to be the next Professor X, I saw.
Could be the new Professor X.
I like that casting.
I love
actually.
it. I was talking to somebody, I don't remember who recently about that, and they were like, don't you think it's weird that, how are they going to make Magneto black? Because then he can't have the World War II Jewish thing. And I go, no. They don't have to be both. Because I like this even more. Because then you've got two people with two completely different reasons for feeling like social outcasts. Beyond being mutants who are able, I love it. Yeah.
I also think you have to go a completely different route than Patrick Stewart because he is kind of that character. Same thing with Wolverine. I think they have to go with a shorter, squattier Wolverine.
And at this point, Esposito is so known for playing villains, it's almost against type for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Katie Sackhoff, probably best known for The Mandalorian. Also,
Battlestar Galactica, Starbuck.
Riddick, baby.
Thank you. Good call.
She bones Riddick at the end of the movie.
I know that she looks familiar because of Mandalorian, but I feel like she almost looks a little familiar from something else. And
You've probably seen her
be
other stuff.
something,
She's done
obscure.
plenty of lots of TV.
Yeah. So I'm sure that I've seen her from.
I think she's done she's Big
something.
Bang Theory. She's done other stuff.
A lot
like
of
that,
TV.
yeah.
Yep, you've seen her on stuff. Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed himself, baby.
Action
He's gonna be
Jackson.
there. What's that? Action Jackson. Also on The Mandalorian, Predator, which we talked about.
Of course.
Anthony Daniels, C-3PO from Star Wars.
Yeah, they have a picture of C-3PO.
C-3PO, yep. We've got Kevin Smith.
And his daughter.
And Jason Mewes.
Oh, that's a nice little family
That's
trip.
a nice little family
That is
reunion.
nice. I do have Kevin Smith's autograph.
You do? It's
I
on the
have
wall
never
there.
met him, but my incredible husband, who knows that I'm a Kevin Smith fan, traveled to New York and stopped on the way in New Jersey.
We took the Jersey Turnpike to get you an autograph.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Stopped by
It was
his
worth
comic book
The
shop.
reg
and-
bank, yeah.
We went to Secret Stash.
And
I got a
got it
Movies
for me.
cap too.
Yes.
Somewhere around
I
here. it's a
am
Movies
going
hat.
to be a newbie, an employee.
A movie girl.
Yeah,
I've been to
and-
movies.
You have.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I forgot that. I totally missed out on that.
Robert Englund, of course, Freddy Krueger.
Freddie.
Yes.
From so we're gonna have the Creel family
Oh, yeah.
from Stranger Things. That's fun. Chris
Chris
Sarandon.
Sarandon.
From Fright Night, Princess Bride, The Sentinel, Love Chris Sarandon. Tyler Hoechlin, TV's Superman from...
Superman I very much like. I think he's a good dad Superman.
That's awesome.
He's also in that Linklater movie, Everybody Wants Some, that I loved. Like it's like one of my favorite. Yeah, it's really
watch
fun.
that. Good. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Bitsy Tulloch from Superman and Lois. She's Lois, I believe. Yeah. Katie Lotz from Legends of Tomorrow, from Green Arrow, or from Arrow and all those shows. Jess McCallan from Legends of Tomorrow. LeVar Burton, not the host of Total Blackout. Sorry, LeVar. But, of course, the host of Reading Rainbow, a quality program. Brent Spiner from Star Trek, The Next Generation.
I think I've told this story before. I went to a Chicago con like a decade ago, and Brent Spiner was there.
Yes.
And he was like, he's like super good at, like, he's super, like, he can engage a crowd, and he, like, especially a crowd that's there for him, like Star Trek fans. But I remember there's this dude, they played a video set to a video of Data. It was a tribute video of Data set to River of Dreams by Billy Joel. And in the middle of the night, and this dude next to me dressed like Data was like crying,
weeping,
like it's like openly weeping because he loved it so much. And I'm like, this is the nicest thing. Like I felt so.
Did Brent Spiner react to it at all?
No, he was like not like they played it before he came on stage, and then Spiner, like it was open mic night with Spiner. He was killing it.
Interesting.
Up there.
I met him because somebody wanted to get his autograph that I was with, and he was a dick. So he was a dick.
He was not interacting with anyone. Okay. And he was very snarky though. Like when I say he was like. It was open mic night. He was very snarky, making jokes. So like
the person I went with was
personality.
Like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Oaken," which was his little role in Independence Day.
Yeah.
As the crazed doctor, and he's like, "Okay, what can I sign for you?" He was a dick. He made Moxley look friendly.
They should have a match.
They should.
Then I want to say that the next three, it's just like a Sons of
Anarchy.
Anarchy
Yes,
like
we got
reunion.
Ryan Hurst, Theo Rossi, and Emilio Rivera. So, yep. And we've watched Sons of Anarchy. We're fans. We got Jeff Anderson from Clerks. And I
squealed
Elias.
because I saw...
Is that why you made a weird sound over there?
Yeah, I
saw
did.
Elias?
Because I saw Elias.
Your favorite.
He is... 100% I would get Elias's autograph.
Excellent.
Oh, my God.
Would you have him sign the movies thing that I got?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm Canada bound in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So when is this?
At the end of the month.
Fuck.
Brian Halloran, of course, from Clerks.
At the end of the month? God damn it.
And then they have a Kids in the Hall reunion.
Kids in the Hall reunion. Yeah, all of the Kids in the Hall, it looks like. Well, they're Canadian boys.
Yes.
Kids in the
The
Hall.
only sad thing...
I don't know if I watched that show.
This is an incredible...
like
it's like a sketch comedy show.
Yeah. The new season's very good.
Like a Keel and Peele or a Chappelle show where they do sketches.
A lot of penis.
I was thinking Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
That's what I was
because they're in the hall. There's some cancellations which are a little sad though. I will say it's a bummer that the Cobra Kai cast wasn't able to make it.
I wonder if that's related to
Filming?
Well, the season comes out in September. I wonder if it's like a press thing to like they're going on a press tour or something.
A hell of a guest list.
This is good. Billy.
I mean, killer guest list.
I'm so sad that we can't go.
Crazy guest
Son of a
list.
gun.
So
There we go. We have previewed. All right. So that wraps up this episode. If you would like to listen, Nikki is going to join us. We're going to do kind of like a after show, kind of like a, I don't know, like what we've been watching.
it's our Tiny Terrors.
It's a Tiny Terror. Yep. So if you would like to hear this earlier, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Midwest Pod Network. Is it Midwest Podnet? I should get that right. You can check us out Patreon. I'll link it. But if you're listening to this on like Friday, Saturday on the weekend, you can continue the fun because we're going to jump right into it in just a little bit. But you can also find us Twitter at HM Yearbook, Horror Movie Yearbook at gmail.com, Horror Movie Yearbook on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube if you prefer to listen to us. I know my brother loves to throw it on the TV and listen to us. My parents listened to the Time Terror we did about things that make us squirm, and they're like, do you really throw your headphones on when you go into a public bathroom because you don't want to hear people shit next to you? And I'm like, I used to, but I don't go into public bathrooms very much anymore.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Long.
Yeah, Tim's mom and dad, I'm sorry for the swears.
Oh, and I'm sorry for all the...
Although your dad watches college sports, I'm sure he said significantly worse things than I.
I guess I just realized much of this episode was spent on which fictional characters would go down out of their... So,
Mr. and Mrs. Long, sorry about that.
That was all me.
If you guys want to let us know which Bond you think, which Bond do you think is the one?
Oh,
let us know. No. Okay. All right. Bye.